What do you like most and least about William and Mary?
I think one of my favorite things about William and Mary is all the different clubs that we have here. There's over 400 different clubs, and like there's something for everyone. Me personally, I'm a freshman and I signed up for 27. I didn't go to all of those, obviously, but there's a lot of stuff that's fun, and you can kind of drop in and out when you want. It's very like low key commitment. You can make it like what you want. I think my least favorite thing about William and Mary, probably getting around. I work off campus, but I don't have a car. You can't have a car your freshman year unless you like submit like an application or something, try and like get them to let you have a car. And it takes me a really long time to get to and from work, and it's really frustrating. And the public transport here, it's free, which is amazing, but it's always like 15 minutes late, and that's really annoying.
Like the MCO sphere, so I'm in FASA, CASA, VSA, but there's also like a bunch of other like organizations that you can get into, and you'll like find your people. My least favorite thing at the moment, it's housing. I'm a junior and I live in a dorm right now, and I'm trying to find housing. It's a little bit difficult. I have one spot, but I would really like to room with a friend, and I'm looking.
Me personally, I like the community of William and Mary the most. I think the people make the school more valuable as a result. What do I like least? Maybe not a lot. I'd say like as a whole, the school is like really good. The worst part would be like the workload. That's something you like kind of sign up for by joining here. So it's like something that you just kind of like deal with. But like besides that, I honestly think it's a really good community and it's a good place to apply to.
Most would be access to opportunities. I think it's a really well-rounded campus in that we have a lot of opportunities for academic success and like extracurricular success. We have a lot of clubs. We have a lot of like career building opportunities for one's professional future outside of college. And also you get to create a lot of social memories with friends. You would think that undergrad students living in Williamsburg would be like really listened to because of like the population that we are in like the city, and the fact that this is just a liberal arts college that tends to like emphasize undergraduate education. And I still feel like a lot of student voice is not as heard in the grand scheme of things because people tend to make future plans without the input of students a lot of the time.
What I like most about William and Mary is like the classic answer of the people. I think the people are the best part of William and Mary, and I think that extends to like students, but also faculty and staff. Just a very special community. Even after you graduate, I feel like all the alumni I talk to are also really special people. And I think that it takes like a certain kind of person to make it through the William and Mary education and like have this zest for learning and like really want to do a lot with their life, which I think is really special. And then my least favorite thing about William and Mary is kind of just my least favorite thing about higher education, which I think is like an inaccessibility to all, and like the problems that we have with education equity and how hard it is to make it to William and Mary. I think that that's something that could change about William and Mary, but is kind of just a problem with college in general.
Is it easy to build relationships with professors and gain connections?
I think that's super easy. I think that just because we have really small class sizes, like I feel like I've only had like one or two classes that were really big, and every other class I've had has been 35 students, and like the smallest classes I've had have been like 10 students. So that really gives a lot of opportunity to meet with the professor. Every single professor I've had has been really available in office hours and really easy to access. So you can definitely like make connections with them, not just for the class you're in together, but also asking about their life and their career and how they can advise you in your own future path.
If you scope out your professors early, look at their, saying like, if you like talk to your professors and actually like actively like try in class, then I believe it's like pretty easy to form connections with your professors, and then as a result, like you'll enjoy your classes more. So I just say like, try in class, obviously, like, engage in the material and like ask questions, and then over time your teachers and professors will like naturally warm up to you, and then you'll have like a more enriching experience like with education at William and Mary.
I think so, but it's really up to you. I feel like they don't, obviously I don't have that much experience yet, but I haven't had anyone like come to me like they do in high school. Like you have to be the one to like go up to them after class or just like yap a lot. That's personally my method. Yap a lot in class. Also, office hours is a great time to talk to them. Everyone's really nice.
I'm a Gov major and Arabic minor, so I get to see like two sides where it's like Gov is a huge department, and you get to see like professors who are super passionate about their work and they really do want to talk to you about what they're doing. It's really easy to build connections with them, especially because for Gov at least it's like a bunch of discussion-based courses. But for Arabic, it's a way smaller department, so I get to know the professors more easily. Like there's only like maybe like 10 students in my advanced Arabic class, and I just get to know the professors really well. So it's really easy building connections, I would say.
Yes, I think so. I think one of the things that really makes that possible is how small the class size is at William & Mary. So like from my freshman year on, I've always been in really small classes where I've been able to really connect with professors because of that, and like show off that relationship by participating and sort of really like leaning into those relationships. But I think that our professors here are so open to students and they really want students to succeed. And so I think that they are open to that relationship just as much as students are.
Is there anything to do in the town of Williamsburg?
Yeah, I love Williamsburg. I love like just like walking around in CW. I think it's like gorgeous. And I'm actually doing a ghost tour tonight at 8:30 that I'm very excited about because those are really popular here because we're a historic town. You can get a lot of internships in Colonial Williamsburg if you're interested in like art or art history or archaeology or curation or something. I love going to restaurants with friends and getting coffee with friends in town as well, or ice cream or something. So there's definitely a lot to do.
There's some good food. Some nice barbecue places. Old City Barbecue is peak.
There are, for like the city of Williamsburg specifically, there are little events that we have once in a while. We have Second Sundays, we have the farmers market. But if you don't know what to do like in Williamsburg itself, you could always find a friend. Everyone's always down to do something, I would say. And that's what I really like about William & Mary, actually.
High key, yes and no. There's a lot of studying, but I'd say if like the people here were lame, it'd be hella boring. But because there's like so many people and clubs to do, there's a lot of activities you can. But as a sophomore or freshman, you don't have a car, so you can't really go out. But there is stuff to do.
Is there anything to do? There's probably a lot. Too much to do, honestly, I think, anyway. I think that Williamsburg is like a perfect Goldilocks of like, it's not too big of a town that like you still get a small collegey town vibe, but also like there's an amusement park like right over there, and like we have huge movie theaters and like all those things that like you would get out of being in a larger community. So I think that there's a lot to do. There's a lot that the local community does, but there's also like if you just want to go out and like see a movie or like go play pool somewhere, like you can find that in Williamsburg too, despite the colonial facade.
What's the social scene on campus?
Social scene on campus, I'd say a lot of it is definitely tied to what organizations and clubs you're a part of, because a lot of clubs tend to organize their own social events or mixers, or like I'm a part of clubs that like just like to hang out on the weekends, so like that's definitely part of it. There's a fraternity and sorority scene that I don't know much about, but there is one, and I think that people just like find their groups really easily.
I mean, it's good. It's good to talk to a lot of people. It's a good social scene. Like right before I was interviewed, I was talking to a group of maybe like 6 people. And in your classes, it's pretty easy to make friends if you like do stuff you're interested in. There's a lot of clubs that you can join. So I'd say as long as you're not like really mean to people for no reason, it's pretty easy to get a friend group in the school if you like reach out.
The social scene is like anything and everything. I feel like either you're in an organization that you really love and you're friends with those people, but like most of my friends are completely outside of any extracurricular I've ever done. Maybe they're like from class, or like I'm still friends with people I met like the first week of school during orientation. So I think there's a lot of really close-knit relationships here, but they can come from anywhere, which I think is really great. You don't feel like you just find people in your clubs, you find them all across campus, which I think is really special about William & Mary. The social scene is, if you want to get to know the whole campus, you can. If you want to like sit in your room and study and like you really want to focus on your academics, you also can. So I think it's what you make of it really, but there are options for everyone, which I think is great.
How academically rigorous is William & Mary?
I would say academically rigorous is what is like a good word for it. Like I think that like for example, like I feel like I write papers all the time, and I've never like I've never once had a professor that's been like, this is a perfect paper, you know. There's always something you can like improve on, which can be frustrating, but it also gives a lot of opportunities for you to learn and grow, and I feel like a lot of us are better at our work because of it.
It depends on like what you define as academically rigorous, I'd say. Because I'd say like every single person I've met here is like, at least is like pretty intelligent or very intelligent. So as a result, the academic rigor is higher. And like that might not be true for like certain classes, because some classes are easier, some classes are harder. But I'd say like for almost everybody, like you're gonna have to like revamp your like study habits and like actually actively try in the school if you want to succeed.
My classes so far, again, I keep having to reiterate, I am a freshman, like these are my first 4 classes, have been pretty, like the content has been pretty good for me. I don't find it particularly hard. That being said, I have a lot of readings. I'm doing primarily sociology and anthropology. So I think in the humanities sectors, you'll find like, it's like at least 100 pages a day. At least that's been my experience. So even if I don't find the classes that rigorous, it's still like a lot of work.
As long as you like what you're doing, despite it being like super rigorous, it's fine. It's manageable, I would say.
To my knowledge, pretty academically rigorous. I feel like rather than being like competitively academically rigorous, I think it's like if you want to learn, like the thing about William and Mary students is that they want to get to that, like they want to get to the highest point of understanding of whatever their field is or whatever they're studying, and so they're going to learn as much as they can, and it's not necessarily like getting the best grades or like doing better than your peers. It's like, am I actually getting something out of the classes I'm taking? And sometimes that's hard to like find that understanding, and that's where the challenge comes from, is like taking a class that you just don't know how to get to that point, but I feel like people find their way there. So I think that yes, it's a rigorous learning environment, but not in a like competitive or like super stressful way.
And I have one last question. If you could describe William and Mary in 3 words, what would it be?
Community, tradition, and friendliness.
That's a funny question. I'd say 3 words would be, man, I don't know. It's hard to encapsulate something in such a short like message, but I'd say like it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Lit crazy movie.
That was really corny.
Yeah.
I would say green and fun. Yeah.
Warm, community wise, but also temperature wise a lot of the time. Warm, I would say like open and curious.